Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us. So we've got another Witcher Old World video from the developer, so I'm really excited about seeing how it is that they're going to talk about the combat and how that's evolved and what the mechanics are for it. I think all of the other videos have sort of been leading up to this point, and I think with this being 14 minutes and 28 seconds of the video, this is going to be the bulk of what we're going to be looking forward to. So I'm really excited about seeing how those beautifully designed cards and combat is going to work. So I am going to be pausing throughout and giving a little bit of commentary, but otherwise let's watch through this together and let's get our initial reactions going.
Hello, my name is Łukasz Woźniak and I'm the designer of The Witcher Old World, a brand new adventure board game that's been co-published by Go On Board and CD Projekt Red. In my previous two videos I have discussed playable characters and deck building mechanics in the game, so go ahead and watch them if you haven't yet. Watching those videos will help you understand the combat in the game before we get deeper into that topic in today's video. In The Witcher Old World, you take a role of a witcher traveling a continent and making a name for yourself. You will increase your attributes, you will make potions and earn trophies by killing monsters or by winning brawls against Witcher from different schools. The first player to gain a set amount of trophies wins the game. The most common way to earn trophies is by slaying monsters. On the game board that we will show you pretty soon, not now, not yet, there are always three monsters present, and each one is located on the outskirts of a different city. In the standard box, monsters will be marked by tokens. In the deluxe box, each monster have their own unique miniature.
I want me a deluxe box already, I'm telling you. The miniatures look so cool right now, so I think we're going to go for that for sure. I do like that, man. Woo!
During your turn, if you enter a location where the monster is lurking, you can either choose to fight him or continue on your travels. And throughout the continent there are people willing to pay you for slaying these monsters, and after killing each one you will proudly carry the trophy you collect. Before starting a fight, you'll need to prepare. One way to do this is by collecting a trail token. These represent the act of investigating and studying a monster, allowing you to learn more about it. You can start a fight without the trail token, but that puts you at a disadvantage. I'll show you how to obtain them in future video.
Already what we're seeing is some of the aspects of the previous Witcher games where, you know, having a bit of foreknowledge about what you're hunting and what you're going to be fighting against is going to be important. And somehow, and in a really clever way, they've introduced that mechanically. So yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how the developer shows us in the future.
Now let's take a look at a full monster fight. Here I will fight a harpy, one of the lower threat monsters roaming the old world, and the harpy's card has some important information we should look at, including the monster level, the monster's life pool, and the monster's special ability. On the back of the card you will see the harpy's trophy, but you need to kill the monster before you can claim it. The player sitting to your right will control the monster, and before the fight they draw the number of monster fight cards equal to the monster's life pool, shuffles them and keeps them face down. When you start to fight, you will have some cards in your hand, but not a full hand of cards, since traveling across the map costs cards too, and the hand you have at the beginning of the fight is called the starting hand. The cards you already use for traversing the continent and taking actions, they form your discard pile.
So really quickly, we want to just discuss what I like about the idea of the monsters there is it reminds me a lot of a game called Kingdom Death Monster, where each monster has a specific amount of cards within its own deck, and that is the actions that it can take in terms of the attacks, and also it is the life deck as well. So I do really like that they've brought that kind of idea there, but also that the witches themselves that we're playing as, also to do certain actions, you have to be getting rid of cards in your hand. So the fact that there is a bit of hand management there is really cool, actually. So excellent stuff so far.
As a fight begins, you shuffle your discard pile with your deck, and this total represents your life pool, and you always start off a battle at full health. For this fight, I already have a trail token, so I will go first. If I started a fight without it, the monster will start the fight. I have 2 cards in my hand. I can also use my specialty for my Witcher from the cat school. It's called Speed, and it allows me at this level to draw 3 cards, keep one of them, and put the remaining 2 in any order at the top of the deck. My specialty is used once before my first turn, so now I can take my full turn and go through few easy steps. First, if I want to, I can use any trophies or potions I might have. I am going to skip on that this turn. And the second step of my fight turn is crucial. I play card combo from my hand representing combat actions I will take. The first card I play can be of any color, but each following card has to be combined by a card extension. I will start the fight by playing a single card and dealing 1 damage to the monster. In the third step, I resolve the cards I have played. There are few symbols that you will have to learn on these cards, but for now, remember that there are cards that will inflict damage and a shield symbol that will restore the shields you have lost. And for each damage I inflict to the monster, it loses 1 card from the top of their deck. So the Harpy has 1 wound, and now I can proceed to the 4th final step of my turn. And here I draw cards. I draw cards equal to my combat level, which can be increased or decreased by cards I have played in my combo this turn. Some cards will slow the enemy down, allowing me to draw more cards and be more prepared for future turns. And some of the attacks will slow me down, stronger attacks will slow me down, and that way I draw less cards and I may be less prepared.
I really like the fact that there's a duality there with the card draw, and obviously the fact that heavy attacks, from what the developer has said there, is going to impact on you and your ability to draw. So I feel like things like the Bear Witcher, for example, might have some really strong attacks, but they're probably going to be more inclined to be playing less cards. From what it sounds like with the Cat Witcher, with their ability to draw, it seems like they might well have quite a lot of smaller attacks, a lot more weaker attacks, but that they're going to be able to get longer and stronger combos. So already what we're seeing here, or from what I'm seeing, is that there is a bit of a difference in the way that the witches will play, and certainly it seems like that adds a lot of flavor to how you play certain archetypes. So that's so cool. And one thing I really like what the developer was saying was about how I think he mentioned before that trophies as well, certain trophies are going to give you certain abilities, which I think is great. And once again, that's really reminiscent of the fact that when you take a trophy in, for example, The Witcher 3, it does add a bonus to either your attack or this, that, and the other, something about your combat ability. So far, absolutely awesome. I really like what's going on.
For future turns. And here, the Harpy is using its flight, and that's why my combat is lowered to 0 during my first turn. So I don't draw any cards from my deck right now. So now it's time for the Harpy to attack. It can either charge or bite, and the player handling the monster will choose which one to use. The attacks for charge and bite are different but overall balanced. So you can either choose one because you prefer it, or you can observe what cards have already been drawn and choose the attack type based on that. Let's say the player handling the monster decided to choose the charge. The harpy was flying and then it dives down to attack me. We reveal the card and the charge says that I take 3 damage. So I absorb 2 of them by decreasing my shield level, and anything above goes to my deck. So I lose 1 card from the top of my deck that goes to my face-up discard pile. And
that is such a cool idea where the person to your left or right, I can't remember what the developer said, will control what actions they want the monster to do. And I do love that competitive idea there. I'm not sure that there's any games that I've played that have got that same sort of mechanic in there, but if you guys know of any games that we can look at that have similar mechanics, I'd be really interested to look at that, because I think that's pretty cool. You obviously have your own character and you're also trying to screw up your opponent's plans and get as much damage on them and weaken them as much as possible. So that's such a cool idea. I love that.
It's a good one. And if my deck was empty, any further damage would mean that I have to lose a card from my hand, and that would put me in a real trouble. So now it's my second turn, and I will keep my potions for now, for later, and I will play a simple combo, starting with a counter attack and using Axii Sign. This allows me to inflict 1 damage, restore 1 shield, and Axii slows or confuses the enemy, and I have time and draw the top card from my discard pile. And now I draw 3 cards based on my combat, and it's time for the monster attack. So the harpy took 1 damage, and if there were 3 players, now the third one would choose whether the harpy charges or bites, so all players are involved.
So every single player gets to choose what attacks they want to do. So you might have a really nice player who feels like they want to give you a chance if you're a newer player, or you might just have a set of horrible people that you're playing with that want to ruin your day. That's such a cool idea. That's really, really good. And I think what that adds as well is a problem that I see in a lot of sort of board games is the interactivity when someone is having their turn. So one thing you'll find in a lot of board games, some of them, they have these long periods of time where you'll have your turn, for example, and then you won't really be able to do much until it gets back to your turn. So I really like this level of interactivity that you still have, and you still have some merit by having decision making on the board. So that is a really cool way of getting around that downtime. So good stuff so far.
And let's say this time it will bite me. And it's a special attack. It only inflicts 1 damage, so I lose the shield I have regained, but it lowers my combat level, so I lose my attribute, which hurts a lot. So now it's my third turn, and I will begin by drinking a swallow potion. This gives me 1 shield, and I will draw 1 less card in the last step of my turn. Because I have alchemy level of 2, I could drink 2 potions during the whole fight. Now I will create a stronger combo, which I've been preparing for, that allows me to inflict 5 damage. I slow the enemy down and block the attack with Quen, use offensive art, and that opens me up to attack with a strong rending blow. 5 damage total, and I draw 2 extra cards at the end of my turn. So we discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I draw 2 cards, plus 2 minus 1, so 3. Now the harpy only has 2 cards left, and for the harpy's turn, let's say it will bite again, and it's a strong one. I take 5 damage right now, so I will lose 1 shield, 2 cards from my deck, and now I have to discard 2 more cards from my hand. But luckily the monster has only 1 card left, so in my final turn I can play both of my cards in a combo, play Irden, that opens me up to play a fast attack, a quick slash. I inflict 2 damage, which is more than enough, and I have managed to kill the harpy, and I'm victorious. Now I take coin as a reward and flip the harpy's card, and the back of the card has a description of the fight. The beast attacked fiercely from the air, staying far from reach. Heightened senses and your training allowed you to fight the right time and put the monster on the ground. Harpy's claws on your belt will be a reminder of your great skill.
The flavor text is so good. I love what they've done there, and that was a pretty cool fight as well. Just the last big combination that that the developer used there was really cool. And you can sort of imagine it in the fight as well, when, you know, as you're playing the games, you sort of move and you dodge, and then you have a combination of things that you do. You throw a sign and you attack, so all looking really cool so far. I really hope it just translates well into the actual game, and that if there's any refinements to do that, they get done. But so far, it's looking super promising.
And there is also a special trophy ability on the card. I place it underneath my player board, and I will be able to use it in the future. Now I would move up on a trophy track, showing everybody at the table that I am a step closer to winning the game, but it also means that I would suffer fatigue. I would have to go through my whole deck and remove one from the game completely, and then shuffle the deck back. After the fight, I discard the potions I've used, lose the trail token, put the monster away, and normally I would go into step 3 of my turn. I would draw 3 cards and purchase a new one from the available pool. But because the fight is over, let's stop for now and also talk about a different way of fighting. When I travel across the continent and I come across a witcher from a different school, I can place a dice poker with them or challenge them to a brawl. A witcher versus witcher fight is similar to a monster fight with few key differences. First of all other witchers that are not involved in the fight may place a wager and may decide to bet on the attacker or the defender, trying to observe who has a bigger chance to win. Secondly, the player who has initiated the fight is called the attacker. They go first, and the player who was attacked is the defender, and they will go second. Following the fight, the winner will get gold, and the amount of gold up for grabs depends on the renown of the participating witchers. So it grows while the game progresses, and depending on the game phase, when the fight breaks out, it could be either 1, 2, or 3 gold. And in addition, if the attacker won the fight, they take a trophy, not the monster trophy, but the trophy of the Witcher school of the defender. Fighting.
That's such a cool idea. I absolutely love that. It gives you a real incentive to actually want to fight people on the board. Yeah, I really do like that. And the fact that the other players can actually place wagers as well is just such a badass idea. Once again, it just keeps everyone on the board involved, and there's always a stake for everyone in every bit of decision making. I really hope that this gets implemented into a really just solid game. I do hope it takes off, because it is sounding really good so far. They've put a lot of effort into this, man.
I think it's a big part of being a Witcher, and thus a big part of the gameplay in the old world. And the rules might seem tricky at first, but once you get through your first fight, you'll understand how everything flows, and you can try, the more you play, to make best decisions while using your potions, your trophies, and especially while building your deck. Each monster is different, and each time they will attack differently, and most importantly, in each game you will take a different path to building your Witcher, so there are never 2 identical fights, and each one is exciting, both to play and to watch. That's it for today. Remember to follow the Kickstarter page, and I'll see you next time.
Well, I'm not speechless because I have been talking a fair bit, but I'm really excited for what these guys have got in store. Loving these videos so far, and they're just doing such a good job of explaining things in a really structured way. I've definitely got to give it to the developer there. The fight and combat mechanics seem really good. I can't wait to see what they're going to talk about next. I think it's probably going to be a bit more about the bigger board and how it is that you navigate across the world and things like that, but this seems to be such a cool part of the game. And once again, I know in my previous video I talked a lot about how good the cards look and how good the graphic design is. You know, the fact that now we've been able to see some combat and just how good it feels to fight against things, you know, I think it's going to be great. So, still really excited for this. I know I'm probably just way too positive about this, and if it falls flat on its face, I'm going to look stupid, but I don't care, man. It feels really good to be this excited about a new game that's coming out, and I actually can't wait to play it. Can't wait to experience it, and I hope that you guys can give us a bit of feedback on what you think about the mechanics, what you think about all of the videos so far. Please let us know, and feel free to support the channel. Thanks a lot for watching.